I'll answer question looking at the chat. So let me know what questions you have in the chat. They could be based on career, they could be based on game development, whatever it is. Yem4K says, hi Rahul, I'm from Kerala. I know little coding and little VFX and such as BCA and working on it at a film post-production company. I was wondering how I could start my game designing career. So a lot of people ask me, I'm working in this industry, I'm working in that industry, I'm working in VFS, I'm working in XYZ industry. So if you're working in some other industry and you want to join the game industry in whatever role you want, the first and most important thing is you have to pick a role. You have to decide whether you want to be a game artist or you want to be a game programmer or you want to be a game designer. You have to pick one of these three roles. Once you pick one of these three roles, you have to start building specific skills for that role. Now it's possible that you may have a head start. If you've done VFX, you may be able to become a better game artist faster. If you're a software engineer, you'll be able to learn coding better. If you're a graphics designer, you may be able to be a game designer. Paras's friend wants to know the importance of UI and UX in the game industry. Now, when you say UI, when you say user interface designer, there is generally not a separate role for game UI designer, especially in smaller companies. So the game artist itself may do the user interface of the game, which is like the buttons, etc., etc. In bigger companies, of course, there'll be a separate UI artist, which is user interface design artist. Now, when it comes to UX, what is UX? User experience of a game is the game design. So there's no such thing as UX in games. UX is basically game design. What is a user experience of the game? Is a design of game. What is the player feeling from point to point? What is going on right now? Is the player supposed to shoot or talk to an NPC or run or jump or whatever? That's what UX means. So UX is not a separate role in the game industry. If you're saying UX for games, basically you're talking about game design at this point. Another really good question, and this is Yash asking, as per current trends and all that is going on in Unity, is Unity still a good option to carry forward or maybe Unreal now? 95% of the game studios in India and vast majority of the game studios all over the world still use Unity. Okay, so there's no chance in hell, no chance at all that suddenly everybody's going to switch from Unity to Unreal. There's no chance, and Unity knows that, right? They completely understand that it's going to be impossible for 90 to 95% of the game studios who have already built games to switch from one engine to other midway, which is why they made this, right? So don't worry about it. If you are in Unity, go for Unity. Unity is still going to be the market leader for some time. Sudhir RBT is saying, okay, if I want to start my own game studio, what should I do? Now, Sudhir, if you want to start your own game studio, don't just have to be a game maker. Don't just have to be a creative person. You have to be a business person. So my first advice to someone who wants to set up their own studio is go and get a job first. Understand how the game industry works. Understand what the process of making games is. Understand how all that stuff, the money, how you earn money with a game, how you research a target market, how you sell a game, how you market a game. Learn all that stuff. And if you join a studio, basically you'll be learning that for free. Not free, you'll be paid to learn that. Somebody will pay you and you can observe and you can learn what's going on. And whenever you're ready, you'll be able to start your own game studio. Okay. Surya is saying, I'm a concept artist and find it difficult to get in contact with studios, like getting noticed. So I'll tell you, Surya, see, your portfolio is very important. Normally the problem is that people don't have a focused portfolio. If you're a concept artist and applying to a particular game studio, for example, say suppose you're a concept artist and you're applying to a game studio which has cricket based games, right? Then if I'm from the game studio and I'm looking at your portfolio, I want your portfolio to have art which is very much like I specifically want. If you have one car and you have one mountain and you have one random character, and if you have this little bit of that, I'll say this person is all over the place. He's not really specializing in anything. I need somebody who can make me good cricketing characters. It's much better to have a strategy in which you go and apply to a game studio in which you make portfolio pieces, you make artifacts which are specialized for that game studio. If you want to join Rockstar, for example, as a concept artist, and you know that they're working on, say, another Red Dead Redemption, then you will go and in your portfolio, you will put sketches which are similar to the art style of the game that they are creating. So then they'll look at your portfolio and say, okay, fine, this person's art style, this person's work really matches what we want, right? Just because you're a good artist doesn't mean they'll select you. They'll only select you if your work, if your art style really matches you. Yes. So Vaibhav Yadav saying, sir, I'm third semester student engineering. I want to pursue game designing, specifically game programming. See, you want to pursue game designing specifically game programming. It's like saying, I want to eat a chicken, please get me fish, right? There's nothing as game designing. There's game design and there's game programming. They are two different things. So if you want to learn game programming, you have to build games. The only way to learn how to make video games is to actually make them. Theory nahi hai. You can't be sitting around reading books about game development and passing exams, and then you suddenly know game development. You get a certificate in game development. Someone you have to build games. You have to actually build games. You have to actually do coding. You have to do game programming. Anybody can do it. Anybody can download Unity. It's free. Anybody can download Unreal. Anybody can download Game Maker, Godot. Anybody can download these engines and do it. So my advice is you need to join some kind of institute. You need to have some kind of structured training for someone who actually teaches you game programming specifically. So Dhanush says you dropped out of your college and I'm interested in game industry. Yes. Now the thing is that like smaller studios, for example, they don't insist on a college degree. A big studio like a multinational company, etc., at an entry level, they may ask for your college degree. But smaller studios, they don't really care about degree. If you have the skills, if you have the portfolio, they'll not even look at, they'll not even ask for anything. You just come and join right away. Frankie is in 10th grade. So if you want to get into game development, my idea, start small. While you're in class 10, download Unity, download Unreal, start building small games by yourselves, watch a tutorial. You need to start making games so that then by the time you graduate from class 12 or you go to college, you'll know how to make games. Which game design should we focus on? Unity is no longer free. So which game engine should you focus on? Now see, remember in India, it depends. If you want to get a job in India, because India is mostly 90-95% is a mobile games industry, and mobile game industry, for the mobile game industry, Unity is very, very popular. By and large in India, almost all the jobs in the job market are Unity jobs. They are not in the game industry. There are not so many Unreal jobs. There are there, but also the nice thing about Unreal is that you have other fields also which are using Unreal, like VFS, films, training, simulation, architecture. These guys also use Unreal Engine. So if you know Unreal Engine, you can get a job not just in the gaming industry, but other industries as well. Okay, that's a good question. How can we manage time effectively to make games? That's a really good question, Parvesh. Now, remember, if you want to make games, if you want to become a game developer, you have to learn how to manage your time very well. You're not going to be able to sit down and make a game in a few days. You will have to take a few months, which means that you will have to set aside a certain number of hours each week. You can say, okay, from Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. or 9:30 to 11 p.m. for 2 hours, I'm going to work on my game, which means that you'll have to give something else. If that time you were watching anime or you were working or you were doing something else or watching Netflix or hanging out with your friends, you'll have to give that up, which means that you'll have to sacrifice something. You need to take out time. You need to, every X number of days per week, you have to take out time to actually sit down and build your game. And this is not going to happen till you sacrifice something else. You'll have to make time for that. That's the only way you're going to be able to do it. Level Up with Kashyap says, I like writing games and doing game designing. Does game designing have a good career scope, or should I learn game development? Game design is amazing scope. I'm a game designer, right? Definitely game designers, has a huge demand for game designers. From Gamer to Maker, we have people who have learned game design and then who've got jobs. There are actually students in Gamer to Maker who have got like 10 lakh rupees per year starting salary. 10.5 lakh rupees. That's like 80,000, 90,000 rupees a month starting salary as game designers. Just have a very good, very strong starting salary. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a good night. See you around. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. I'll see you guys around. Thank you so much. Have a good night.